That's right, ladies and gentlemen. All the useless information you want to know. It's Friday nights with Jeff and Joe. This is Joe.
And this is Jeff.
How are we doing today, Jeff?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Almost the end of the week here.
It is almost. Well,
Gotta make it through the rest of today.
It is Friday.
Big plans for the weekend?
Big plans for the weekend. Got some housework. And
Housekeeping?
Housekeeping? Not just like, the old vacuuming and stuff. We have to put in a sink in the downstairs bathroom.
A sink in the bathroom, okay.
Mm-hmm. That has to happen.
So there's a bathroom with no sink right currently. How do you wash your hands now? Or do you not
We don't
wash?
really use that bathroom.
Or is it like you kind of flush it and then just you rush? Okay.
Jeff, we don't use that
Just
bathroom.
curious.
Yeah, well, it's a great,
It's a great question.
very valid point.
Most people don't have bathrooms without sinks.
I know.
I didn't know if you were replacing.
Well, this is why we're putting one in. It's not like it's never had a sink. I think the basement, because we rent, and I think the basement had flooded. And so damaged things got taken out. It's a nice basement now. It's been recarpeted, all that. Just the sink was not yet finished. So
the sink was not yet finished.
All
right.
We're going to do that.
That sounds like a good half a day project.
Yeah, the Packers better win.
The Packers.
Watching the Packers.
Yeah, we always watch Packers.
Because you can't not watch the Packers.
Why would you not watch the Packers?
Well, if you're not a Packer fan, you're not going to watch the Packers.
That just doesn't make sense to me.
It's because you're a Packer fan, Jeff.
All right, so I think this will lead right into our first mini topic. So,
wait. Do you have housekeeping?
Housekeeping?
Or do we not want to talk about housekeeping?
Oh, no, I was just going to lead into it. But we could do housekeeping.
Because I already dropped that one for you. The old housekeeping lead-in.
Yes. All right. So the first order of business is we were politely informed that I made a major, apparently,
boom,
huge error in the Lord of the Rings folklore. I apparently called Gandalf.
No, you didn't apparently.
Okay, legend has it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, I said Gandalf the Great. And
I let it happen.
Nobody corrected me.
I let it happen because I was the only one in the room, bud.
So what I'd like to, in my defense, Joe didn't correct me.
Oh, my God.
And so he's being all high and mighty on it right now.
I'm not at fault.
My
name's Jeff, and I'm just never at fault for anything.
I think we should write that down so everybody knows. But I would like to then, longtime listener, Jamie D., who listens on his way to and from work, listens to us every day that we have a podcast available. And he politely corrected me that apparently Gandalf the Grey dies. Spoiler alert, sorry.
So you said Gandalf the Great.
I said
with a
great,
T.
yes.
Yes.
As in, because he's a great guy.
Well, and he is. He's a great
That's
wizard.
why I just figured, like, blah, 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 the great.
I mean, you could say Gandalf the Great Gray.
No, because I'll probably still get yelled at by people.
You're
They're
right.
Like, it's not great. So anyway,
Gandalf is great.
Jamie did inform me then that he dies, and then he becomes Gandalf the White.
The White.
So he's like the super Gandalf.
Super wizard.
Yeah.
Gandalf the White.
So I'd like to thank Jamie
White.
for informing me.
Jamie D.
Correcting me.
The man, the myth, the Jamie D.
All right. Thank you. Next, I would like to... Joe Horsemeyer did make a comment yesterday or last week about how Plymouth is the cheese capital of the world. I did Google it.
I'm interested to see what this housekeeping is about.
I did Google it, and at one point it was the cheese capital of the world. And so I think it was more of a self-proclaimed title, kind of the way Oreos had to change it from America's favorite cookie to just, a cookie.
Kohler is Crappertown, USA.
Crappertown, USA. So yes, Joe was correct in that Plymouth is some sort of cheese capital of at least Sheboygan County. I'll say that way. Maybe we'll narrow it down a
world.
All right. So, do you have anything else? Is there any housekeeping from your perspective?
No. None.
Okay, good. We should probably just keep these shorter so there's no other issues.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So as I was saying earlier, we want to go into our Packer conversation. Joe's having a little tough time talking about this. But we normally do a hot or not topic.
Gosh.
So Joe would like to start off with a little bit of not.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, yes, we have talked numerous times in our 3 podcasts.
Numerous.
2 podcasts? 3?
This is 3.
This is podcast
Thanks
number
for
3.
playing along.
We're gonna talk about it again. That we live in the southeastern Wisconsin area, i.e., Sheboygan County area, which puts us right at Green Bay's doorstep. We love the Green Bay Mother Truckin' Packers. Okay,
love them.
No way, no how, not loving them. We love them. And the Green Bay Packers are not the Green Bay Packers right now. I still love them. I still think they're a phenomenal organization. But we are a little discombobulated at the moment.
Something is wrong, for sure.
Something is wrong.
And every week there's a new finger pointing at somebody else.
Yeah.
Last week I was reading something about how Mike McCarthy was doing a good job with all the injuries and making it through.
Yeah.
But now this week he is thrown under numerous buses and
hardcore.
His job is being threatened.
He gone. I don't know. I don't think, and not only that, but the Green Bay Packers do not react like that, which I think is admirable.
A steady program.
Yep, they take their time. But at the end of the day, too, something is wrong. We're not there. We are not there in the locker room. Slapping each other with towels and stuff, whatever Jeff likes to do when he's in the locker room. But
you're dead to me.
But I'll tell you, those Packers, man, I wonder what Lombardi would say. What do you think Lombardi would say?
I think he'd say we have to run the ball a little more often. And I know, so the good news, what do you think about the new pickup now?
I think it's great. We need it.
I'm a little hesitant.
At this point, I could say anything's great.
I'm a little concerned because we traded, assets, late round draft picks for Davis.
Well, we didn't lose anything, though.
Week later, I thought it was conditional?
Yep.
Okay, all right.
We're fine.
I know that.
And that's basically what we're doing here, too.
Oh, it was a free flyer, for sure. He was waived. Yeah. We picked him up.
Mm-hmm. So we beat the Vikings to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, we totally weep.
So how does that work? Why don't you fill me in? I'm not sure how the waiver wire...
I'm not sure how it works either, but I think we came in with a better offer.
Was that what it is? Okay.
I think so.
Well, I mean, and if you're a free agent running back, you'd want to play for the Packers knowing you have a really good shot at starting.
This week already against the Redskins.
Well, what's surprising, I believe Christian Michael came out of Texas A&M. Is that correct? Yeah. A really highly recruited, I think. Yeah. Why don't you Google that while I'm talking here? Do that. So I mean, he's not just some random scrub. Like, he had some real potential coming out of college. I think he had a massive injury. That's why he got dropped in the rounds. Seahawks picked him up. I know there was a lot of talk about him, dropping. Be a great situation for the Seahawks, but unfortunately with Rawls coming up, they were able to release him, and, well, their loss, our gain kind of thing. So, But either way, I think we need to run the ball more. I know it's not... our offensive line isn't always healthy, and we got new guys in there, but we can't be. I don't know, something. I have a feeling it's Rodgers trying to do too much. So that's my thought.
And that makes sense. But that being said, too, having to run it, we do have Aaron Rodgers, who is one of the better QBs.
It's funny. Weeks ago, we would have said one of the best.
I still think he is, but I don't want.
But you said better.
I don't want people to burn my house down. Because I don't own it.
This is our podcast. They just listen. We talk. Okay?
That's right. Okay.
They can't reek.
But no, how many receivers do we have?
I think there's 7.
7?
Well, healthy ones maybe 6. I think.
Yeah. But either way, I mean, there's absolutely no reason why we should not be utilizing those individuals. I'm totally doing some skimming here as we're talking.
Just what college did he work?
Ads are popping up.
Here, Christian Michael. How hard is this to do this here?
I am not the most... I'm on my phone all the time. Smart man. But I'm not smart.
Texas A&M, I was right.
You are right. I'll give you that one.
I figured I was right.
Talk about Wizards and you're all messed up. But
talk about real things like the Green Bay Packers, things that matter.
So that, to me, is what is not hot right now. Something that is hot, though.
What is hot?
Let me tell you. I just saw it here. And again, give me a moment. Momento. El momento.
Un momento, por favor.
Somebody in Russia.
Okay.
Somebody in Russia painted one of those Russian stars, in their symbol for their nation.
The sickle, I believe it is.
Well, I'm not talking about the sickle. I'm talking about the star. Hold on, I'm almost there. Swear to goodness.
He's furiously flicking that thumb trying to get to where he needs to go.
They painted the star. Yep, someone vandalizes a Soviet star in Russia and turned it into the lovable character from SpongeBob, Patrick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me see a
awesome.
picture.
Oh, so good. So good.
For those of you who can't see Joe's phone through the speakers, it is a star. It's a 3D sculptured, statue star, whatever that's up on a pedestal or whatever. And it has been given pink legs, arms, and a torso, and then little.
Sometimes people are awesome.
Green pants.
Yeah. SpongeBob's best friend Patrick Starfish is officially. Oh my gosh! Why does this do this? Officially famous in Russia, where he towers over the city of. How on earth do you say that?
Somewhere in Russia. Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
Well, it's common for former Soviet republics to destroy Soviet-era, my phone, seriously, Soviet-era monuments. Someone decided it would be far more creative to paint Patrick.
It is pretty funny, considering Russia.
Love it.
Russia seems to have more of a real stern kind of reputation, and this is pretty funny, the way the picture is.
Yeah, so that's my hot.
That's your hot.
That's my hot.
All right, so
what's your
my hot is, so I'm a married man with a couple kids.
Hot to trot.
So there's 4 of us at the house.
So far, I'm intrigued.
Nothing better than waking up with nobody in the house. Oh my God. I had this happen to me, and
one time since I got married.
I thought everybody was dead. I thought we were having a zombie apocalypse. Anyways, yes, waking up with nobody in the house, and just you can do whatever you want.
And you
it's
grab
so
your
nice.
AK and your German Shepherd dog, like Will Smith.
Oh yeah, okay. I was like, where are you going with this? Like, anyways, no, but it was nice. You could just, walk downstairs, bowl of cereal.
What cereal did you have?
I believe it was Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, great cereal.
Yeah. I'm really not a cereal guy.
No.
The wife is not a cereal guy. I'm more of an eggs.
She's more of a girl.
She's a cereal guy. She's a cereal girl.
Cereal gal.
Cereal girl. Cereal. I don't know that song anyway.
I didn't know there was a song about cereal.
It sounded really good in my head. I was like, yeah, that's pretty sure.
I think there's not a song about
any oozles. Yeah, so big fan of waking up with nobody in the house. That was my.
I can see the appeal.
That was my thing. I mean, you live with a woman and a child, so you kind of understand that.
That is
not having a lot of male aloneness time.
Yeah, yeah. It's a moment when you do have it, though.
Yeah,
I mean, you shut the bathroom door and lock it. And
that's how normal my quiet time. That's how that happens. Leave me alone. Daddy's in his office.
Yeah,
my home office.
Daddy's office stinks.
Then don't go in there.
Oh God,
that was my Kevin from The Office impression.
Yeah,
that's another shout out. So, my 2 best friends,
2 of them,
went to visit them.
Okay.
Austin, Texas. We talked about it a little while ago. That was my birthday present.
Mm-hmm.
They were telling me about how they were telling me how much they both love The Office. They're quoting it, all this funny stuff, right? And I'm like, I just can't get past how just Michael Scott is the character's name. He's played by Steve Carell.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen it.
Yes.
He's completely oblivious to everything going around.
You can't get over that? That's what makes it funny.
I know, but it makes me cringe. Like, there are times I have to walk out of the room because I can't take what this guy is doing in this situation.
There was a time in my life, I don't know, have you ever seen the TV show Archer?
I know of it. I've never really watched it.
Okay. I recommend, for you, Jeff, I think you should watch it. There was a time in my life when I could not handle Archer. There was so much. I mean, it's pure comedy genius, I think. But there's so much unease all the time.
Yep.
People just ripping at each other, and it's not nonstop just terror. I think I don't know what I was doing with my life at that time, but I couldn't handle it. I couldn't watch it. I didn't find anything funny. I was like, everybody. But now I just think it's amazing. I love it. Love it.
Thanks for that.
Just saying.
I think that
Dr. Phil's coming on next.
I think Bob's Burgers gets the same rap. It's one of those just uncomfortable, funny shows.
Good.
But there are so many people who I think it's one of those you love it or
there's
you hate
actually
it
an
kind of
Archer where he loses his memory,
okay.
and he's actually Bob from Bob's Burgers.
Really,
it's awesome.
I love
Check
when
it out.
I love when
Netflix.
they cross over. I
know.
think that's so cool.
Yeah, that's creative genius.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
It is correct.
Speaking of crossing over, I had nothing there. Wait, what do you got?
Wow, you didn't even let me finish my story.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
Please, is this still the hot story, or where are we at?
No, I'm talking about The Office still.
Oh yeah, you're friends with
yeah,
Austin.
you bogarted my story and then you just ended it.
Oopsies.
Anyways, so they were like, "You got to watch it.
Story
You got to
better
watch
not
it." I was like, "No, I can't take it." And now I'm in love with it. I've gone through like 4 seasons in the last couple of weeks. Like I'm constantly watching.
It's good.
It. Yeah, and you pop them on, you watch them, laugh a little bit, go back to about your day.
Cry a little bit.
It's a great show. So
It is.
for those of you out there that
I
couldn't
have
get
not
through
gotten into it either.
But so for
I have it. I find it hilarious.
Yes.
It's just I don't get into the last TV shows that I got into. Okay, one was Archer.
Okay.
2 on Netflix, Sherlock.
Love Sherlock.
OMG.
Love Sherlock.
Oh my God.
If you have not
Sherlock.
seen Sherlock, it's with Benedict Cumberbatch
Yes.
and
The old.
do you know what the other is? Simon
BC.
Pegg? Is it? It's not Simon Pegg. It's
I forget his name.
he's
He's Bilbo.
yes. I'm going to Google him.
Um,
However, if you've never
gonna
seen
do
it,
the rest of the
it's really
podcast.
good.
in
Please don't.
British.
Please don't.
I'm going to. In honor of Sherlock.
His name is Martin Freeman.
Yes, Martin Freeman.
Good friend of yours.
You know, we go back.
Please stop. Please don't make me do this with you.
What? Do what?
Anyway, Sherlock, great show. If you haven't seen it, watch it.
Love it.
They're amazing.
The writing is quite brilliant.
Stop.
No,
I'm serious. I can't take you
Seriously,
like
the rest of the show, I'm going to do British accent.
this. For those of you out there who are British, maybe watching, Joe's not trying to be insensitive. He just is just borderline not
Jeff,
smart.
I just want you to know, no one watches this. This is a podcast. They use their ears exclusively.
Use their what exclusively?
Ears.
Now you kind of sound Australian.
Well, I don't care.
I don't care. All
I
right.
flip-flop back and forth.
Okay, so
rest
speaking
of
of
the night.
flip-flopping, let's go to the next topic.
Great.
Crikey.
What do you got?
We are going to talk about favorite travel stories. So when I say favorite, they might not be good. They might be bad. So like the time right now when I traveled to England and I met Joe.
I cannot
Horstman.
wait for this. This is so exciting.
All right. I'm going to let Joe go first just because I can't handle the accent.
I can't handle his face at me right now. Jeff, quit looking at me. Anyways,
So stupid.
I have a couple fun stories. I like to think of them as fun. But so I was all of 18 years old, walking this lovely green earth for 18 years, and my best friend from high school, shout out to Zach B. Zach, the main man B.
Zach
Yes.
B.
Yes, he is now fairly high up at the capital of the United States of America. I'm just kidding.
With the accent or his story?
No. What?
You said I'm kidding.
About no, he works at the Wisconsin State Capitol.
Okay.
It's kind of a big deal.
I can't take you like that.
Anyways, so we just graduated high school. All right, seniors, fresh off the boat of infancy into this thing we called adulthood.
Yeah, terrible place.
Ugh, take me back. But anyways, so we were literally, I don't know, a week out of high school. We load up the old Ford Fusion. No, it wasn't a Fusion. It was a Focus.
Ford Focus?
Ford Focus.
I got one of those.
Called the Red Bullet.
The Red Bullet.
Yep. Little 5-speed. Awesome car.
Awesome car.
I don't like Fords, but I'll tell you, spending a week in that car, like it.
A week.
Anyways, drove out to the East Coast. Thought it'd be a great idea. Actually, it was a great idea.
Okay.
Wanted to go to New York. Had never been to New York City. Home, well, not home, but because Bob Dylan's actually from Minnesota. But both of us are big Bob Dylan fans.
So what is about going to New York that was
Bob Dylan, I mean, Greenwich Village, Bleecker Street.
Okay.
Just
all right.
All
so
those
he's known for that area.
He got his start in New York City. And he gets his salsa from New York City.
New York City.
Yeah. So we wanted to go out there. We drove out there, and the obviously it's just two 18-year-olds,
two dudes
on their way out. Had no idea. We had not, and I think Zach had been out there, but for me, no, just little town of Random Lake, Wisconsin, and here I am in the biggest fucking city in the world.
And you had no idea where you were going to stay or anything.
We were going to stay at a hostel.
Okay, all right.
We already had that all booked up.
Okay, well that's good.
So we had things planned. It's not like we just hopped in our car.
That's kind of way to make it sound.
Well, yeah, but think about it though. As 18, you're like, let's drive out to New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so the story, the most interesting one for me, we get out there. We stayed in New York. I think it was 3 or 4 nights. One of the two. I don't know. You decide.
4.
So we stayed in this hostel. We were there with there's a guy named Will, actually from
Australia.
No, Great Britain.
Oh,
Will,
good
old William Turner.
Shakespeare.
No. And then oh boy, I cannot remember this other guy, but he was from Brazil. I have to look back at my notes, my travel notes.
Oh my god.
And so, anyways, we got to know these guys. And one night we wanted to go out and see Modest Mouse. They were playing at in Central Park.
I'm aware of who they are.
Yeah, well, I would hope so. They're pretty good.
Yeah,
that's fine. You
not a big
lame
alt
over there. That's cool.
Music fan. Is that alt? Is it
I have no
pop,
idea what you're talking about. That's not. Are you kidding?
I don't know.
What?
I'm asking you.
It's not pop.
Not pop.
Is it on the radio?
I've heard of them.
Well, sure. They're like one song that's on the radio. Float.
Sure, you tell me.
Gosh.
Okay.
Anyway, so we wanted to go see Modest Mouse. We proceeded to get heavily inebriated. Didn't make it. Did not make it.
Surprise.
Yeah, we did not make it. We went late in the night.
Okay.
Show's done.
I'm here for the party.
Yep.
It's over.
No one. Dark. Like just, walking Central Park. 2 18-year-old kids walking Central Park
Drunk.
after like, I don't know, 11:30, maybe it was midnight, drunk. Okay. I don't know how much you know about Central Park.
Yes.
Nowadays it's actually pretty good. It's pretty cleaned up.
Okay. But at the time.
Not a safe place. And not even then I think it was fairly cleaned up. But
I've seen the movie Home Alone.
Yeah.
And he's in Central Park.
There's no
pigeons
pigeon
and
lady.
some lady.
Yeah. And she was actually nice.
Yeah, she was.
So she's
Bad
not,
guys came after him.
I know.
Okay. Anyways.
So
you met Macaulay Culkin.
We did not meet Macaulay Culkin. We're out traipsing around Central Park. We had a flask and I think maybe 2 flasks or so. So we're continuing to drink,
Okay.
And we find ourselves out of Central Park, luckily, and kind of on what would be the west side of the city. I want to say more around Hell's Kitchen area.
Okay.
Zach wanted to see some nipples. Okay. So I'm not going to say that I wasn't a fan either. I mean, okay. I'm sure at one point I was like, yeah,
great idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Well, as I kind of looked around in my stupor, I was like, I don't think we're in the right neighborhood. I don't think this is good.
Okay.
Zach, on the other hand, is just skipping a boot, grabbing. I don't know. Have you ever been to Vegas or New York?
I've been to both. Yeah.
Okay. Well, they'll hand out like they're little cards.
Yeah,
you know,
so you
just
can
saying
call.
where these places are. Or,
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
they're not for call girls, but they're
okay.
you know more so for the clubs themselves. And,
for the clubs. Okay.
Yeah, and
I
this
was thinking
guy
prostitute.
is like, yeah, here's like $20 off. Zach's like, awesome, you know.
Yep.
And then the guy, I don't remember how. Obviously, this is all of, 12 years ago, but this guy, he somehow gets Zach to give him some money. He totally conned him. All right, so
conned
him. Yeah.
Okay.
So Zach is, of course, like, oh yeah, boobies, yeah, everywhere. That's it, money, yes. Pulls out his wallet, starts handing over some cash. This guy clearly sees the rest of the cash in the wallet.
Mm.
Will and I, because Will came with us this night, we were like, we gotta go. It's time for us to leave.
Yep.
You know?
Good idea.
The guy proceeds to grab Zach. Like, full-on bear hug Zach. Because he started grabbing for his wallet, and Zach's like, no.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you know? The guy bear hugs Zach, and Will goes after him. Full-on, scrawny British white guy. Yeah!
Starts going after this.
Throws fists at this large African-American man. And there are other large African-American men standing about.
Yes.
I hail a taxi.
I'm going this away.
Yeah. I grab a taxi, and then at this point, so one is starting to pull over. I'm grabbing Will and Zach and pulling them towards the taxi.
Yep.
Open up the door, throw them in, and this guy chases after and jumps in with us. We proceed to push him out of the driving, and we're just like, go, 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 go. The taxi driver, who was probably like, oh my goodness, I don't know what's going on. So we go. We are just driving to who knows where.
Yes, just go.
He's like, where are we supposed to go? And Zach is like, oh, we didn't get to see any boobies, you know?
That's all he cares about.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so the night ended in another bar.
Okay.
Because, too, we got served all over the place. We didn't have to show any ID or anything. It was really weird. But there was a bar literally just kitty corner from where we were staying. And it was like 4 a.m. at this point. Bars don't close in New York, and it was amazing. I'll never forget that night. It was just a blast. It
sounds a little scary.
It was terrifying at the time, and I remember us leaving New York, and we're like, we're never telling our parents, you know. But we totally told them like years later.
Sure.
So that is my, I have numerous stories. I grew up in a family of 6, so I mean, just imagine those trips. But
where do you mean? Like camping or big trips to Disneyland?
We one time road tripped. It was actually that same summer. It was
when you were 18. Okay.
Yeah, my parents were like, this will be our last like big family trip.
Okay.
We road tripped out to South Dakota.
Okay.
To see Mount Rushmore.
Sounds like fun. Depends how big of a car you have, though.
It was a conversion van. I mean, it's comfy.
Okay. All right.
But Jeff, you don't just drive out to South Dakota to see Mount Flippin' Rushmore, okay?
Well, you can go through the Black Hills and Buffalo.
Have you ever driven through
everywhere.
South Dakota?
No.
Sucks.
Have not.
Terrible.
Okay.
Terrible.
Because there's nothing to see.
So I wish that this was kind of a video cast, because I would so upload, and maybe we can do this someday when we actually get the media sources that we need.
Page.
There is some gold, some comedic gold, I feel, of our family on this trip.
Okay.
Just hating ourselves. Like, now we look back and just laugh. In the moment, we were like,
so halfway through,
this sucks.
Even mom and dad were like, we made a mistake.
Totally. Yeah. My parents are like, can we get a plane flight back?
When
you guys
does this
drive back?
end?
Yeah. It was pretty bad. I don't have any specific story. You have to watch the videos in order for it to be funny. I will not be able to recall these.
And so who was taking the video?
It was all of us.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a video camera being passed a boot.
Okay.
Right. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay.
What do you got? Jeff?
Well, I don't know. As kids, we always went camping. Every year we went camping. Famous, popular stories my dad always tells that he would go give me and my sister little water squirt guns. We were like 5, 6, whatever. Those little little crappy ones. Mm-hmm. And he would tell us to go shoot the squirrels and the raccoons. So we run through the woods and I mean, We never were close, but it gave us something to do.
Did you ever come across a raccoon? Because I cannot see that ending well.
No, raccoon. I'm sorry. Squirrel and chipmunk?
You said squirrel and raccoons.
Squirrel and chipmunks. Sorry.
Okay. I'm like, oh.
My dad hated us. Trying to get your face caught off. Yeah, no, squirrels and raccoons. So that was a popular thing. We went camping at like a lake all the time, so we'd go in the lake and the traditional Wisconsin summer week-long thing. Totally. One year we got, so we're camping, and we camped in tents, like
straight up
hillbillies, like in
that's called camping.
Well,
what people do nowadays is called just taking your house.
It's called glamping. It's glamour camping. Kathy mentioned it. She's got one of those like pull behinds that are just. It looks like a house. Looks like a trailer. They call it glamping. GLAMPING.
This last summer I went camping. I slept in a tent.
Yep. So we have this huge, what we call the Taj Mahal of
tents.
It's like a
one step down from glamping.
It'd be like a 8-seater, 10-seater, and so
seater,
like a how many seats? Like a
in the tent.
No, like how many people could sleep in it?
That'd be a sleeper. Not
sleeper.
A seater.
Sure, it'd be a sleeper. An 8-sleeper. Yeah, whatever.
Great.
So anyway, it's canvas. It's bright blue. It's awesome.
You can't miss it.
It's so awesome. We went camping and everybody's laughing at us because they have all their fancy ones. Uh-huh. And then at the end of the day, ours was the best because it was so much. It's really tall, so you can stand up in it.
Nice.
It's got to be at least 7 to 8 feet at the top there.
Huh.
So it's kind of nice. You can stand up in there. You get dressed. You can do normal stuff rather than
do a
little tiny. You have to like crawl into and you just lay down. So.
Square dance.
It's very nice, very nice. So my dad has passed it on down to us, and so my wife and I. So we have it now. So we've used it a couple times. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So I don't know. That's what we always did. But I shouldn't. This is where I was going to go with my one story. So we normally camped in tents, like you said, and one year there was a tornado coming through the area.
What? Where was this?
And so in Wisconsin somewhere.
Okay.
Middle of the state, I'm thinking. I think it was called Huckleberry Acres. Now that I'm ready, I should write that down because I'm actually curious where that is. So can you look that up?
Well, I will if my phone works.
All right. Otherwise, leave it. I'll look it up and do housekeeping for next.
Housekeeping?
So Huckleberry Acres was we went there every year. I guess a shout out if it's still there. I don't know. But anyway, we were there and a tornado was coming through. And so we had the radio on and we were all sitting around in one of those mosquito tents where it's just the netting around you and be like,
oh yeah,
well, hope it doesn't get us. There was nothing we could do. I mean, it was getting closer and closer, and then we decided to get out. Is it Joe? Is it
totally
still around?
Okay. It's in New London, Wisconsin.
New London, Wisconsin. Thank you. Yep. Just, I'm gonna Google that when I get off of this. Off the podcast and see if we can. Maybe I'll take my kids there as some sort of weird tradition.
Because you have the tent.
I do. Maybe they'll remember the tent. Oh, you're the blue tent. Any whistles. So yeah, that was how we did it. We never really did big family vacations until I was like 15, I think. It was the day after the Packers won the Super Bowl in 1996.
Damn.
We went. You
were fresh with your Brett
Favre
jersey.
Went to Florida. At that time, I had a Robert Brooks jersey.
Dude, still have it.
So we went to Florida, did the whole Disney World, Epcot, Universal thing. It was a lot of fun. I just remember it hot and humid. That was pretty much it. And then, did we do that?
Well, I mean, was it cool at all?
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great.
Just besides hot and humid.
Actually, no, let me think. No, we took the Disney trip when I was younger. It was in 5th grade. And then the year after the Packers won, then we flew into Vegas, rented a car, and then we drove around. So
I've never been to Vegas either.
We did Hoover Dam. We did Grand Canyon, San Diego, and then we went down to Tijuana.
Wow.
That was like a one big trip. And that was when I was 15.
Jeez.
And then the last and most recent one was we went to Italy as a family.
You went to Italy?
So backstory.
See.
We had a foreign exchange student named Mattia. He lived with us for a year and a half or so.
Okay.
So he wanted us to visit his house, where he grew up and stuff. He, obviously from Italy. So we went there. And
what part of Italy?
17 days. So,
the boot. Where in the boot?
Like in the middle of the boot, I think it is.
Right.
Yeah, because the weird thing is we traveled all up and down. So for New Year's we were there for Christmas / New Year's.
Okay.
So New Year's Eve, I spent it at a ski Alps resort in the middle of France on the very hills that they had the Olympic trials on. So like later in the year, they're already starting to set up and everything. So what we ended up doing is, if you ever do this, I'm going to tell you a great thing to do in the winter. Okay.
Okay.
Do you remember in middle school you had those mats and they were covered in that really thick vinyl kind of covering?
Yeah.
If you put one of those on the snow and slide down, you will fly so fast. Because it just, boom,
what's the
gone.
story here?
So there was padding as used as a wall. So we put it down and then we all laid on it and then slid down this hill. It was so much fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
All of you together.
There was a couple. Well, there was probably eight of us there.
Huh.
And we, so one or two of us would go.
Yeah.
3, 4, whatever. Yeah. I just thought that was, so that was that. And then we went to all the normal, locations. We went to Rome for a couple of days. We went to, there's the one with the gondolas where there's no roads and you walk around everywhere.
It's called Sicily.
Where they make all the glass. I'm not sure.
Well,
I was
water,
like 21.
Right?
Yeah, where the streets are water, where the gondolas. Yeah, so we did that. All sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah.
That one was more intense, obviously, with the flight and all that. But it was fun.
I believe
unfortunately, I was like 21, 22, and I don't think I appreciated it as much as I would now, like now that I'm older. Because at the time, I was just like, oh, this is fun, and didn't understand like all the planning and all the, the money being put into it. And so I think I'm not really a big museum guy, but I think...
Have you ever noticed how tired you get when you're in museums?
Yeah.
Do you know there's an actual way that you're supposed to go through a museum?
No.
I didn't either.
You're going to have to tell me this.
Well, I don't know it either, but I do know that there's a thing. There's actual college courses that you can take on how to explore
go through a museum.
Museums, yes.
Okay.
I did not take it.
Clearly, because you don't know.
I barely take any type of college courses, as a matter of factuality.
But so the other thing is, our family is very Catholic. So it being in Rome, we went to see a lot of the Catholic stuff, which was really neat. We got to go to one of those things where we all sat outside.
Did you go to the Vatican?
The Pope came through.
Okay.
So he was in a mobile. We got to see him. Mm-hmm. But we didn't get to like reach out and touch him or anything. So
because then you'd be cured of whatever it is that ails you.
Yeah, because I've still got that.
Yep. Hey.
So anyway, so it was really fun. We did a lot of cool things. Got to see a lot of cultural stuff. I remember the one bad thing was that I don't know Italian, right? I don't know Italy. I don't know Italian. Now I know some Spanish. So there was some translation there that I could do, but I felt really dumb. There was a couple times where I was kind of in a situation by myself.
So you felt at home.
Yes. No different than a normal day here. So like...
Sorry, Jeff.
No, it's okay. You flustered me there for a second. So it was like a food court thing, and they were like, okay, well, here's some money. Just go get what you want, right? And so I walk up. I remember this like it was yesterday. I remember the person looks at me.
Probably because it happened to you at McDonald's.
So I'd been told earlier in the trip that I'm a large man. I'm pretty tall. I'm pretty big. I don't know. I don't know. You can't see me. So one of the foreign exchange students' friends, like, don't take this the wrong way, but he's like, I've never seen somebody as big as you are. And to be honest, I was probably 150 pounds lighter than I was now. Like I was pretty little. He's like, I've just never met anybody. I think it was like more broad shoulder and as tall and just because they're all skinny little Italian guys.
Well,
exactly.
And so, all those Europeans, man, they're all like.
So I walk up to this counter and I'm sure this person was like, great, big dumb American guy, and I'm like, I just want food, okay? I just want food, okay?
And if you've got a gun in the back, can we hand that over?
I just want food. So like a pure moron, I just point to what I want and I grunt. like my son does now. He's 2. He doesn't know. He just and so I was like, and I was trying to say a number or whatever I was trying to say, and the person looked at me like not trying to be helpful at all. They were just like, "Great!" I just had this like this wave of just regret come over this person's face.
Like, why did I punch in today?
He's like, "I don't have time for this right now, sir." And then they were like, da da, and I was like, yeah. Like I don't even know what I ordered. I just like, yeah, give me whatever.
Was
you
it
have.
delicious though?
I'm sure it was. That wasn't the point of the story. I'm sure I ate it. I'm sure it was amazing.
Wow.
But I do remember that. It was pretty funny. It was yeah, I had a good time with that. That was pretty funny.
Glad to see nothing's changed.
Yeah, no.
Seems
I do remember going to like so we went to some other
I'll do
It's like just every American stereotype. I just was like, yeah, I'm going to do them all in this next 2-minute bit here if you want to pay attention. We went over to some person's house, and they do like these Italian meals, and it's like 5 courses, right? Well,
yeah.
So I like plow down on the first one. I was like, this is amazing. Can I get more? And they're like, yeah, okay, give you more. And I'm like, no big deal, eat it. And then like another course and another course. I'm like, I shouldn't have done so many of the first one. I was like, I wasn't prepared.
They're like, hey, it's an endurance race, okay, not a sprint here, bud.
And then oh man, it was pretty fun. That was a good night. That was funny. And again, like I was just trying to have a good time with it, but I'm sure I perpetuated every, like I said, dumb American stereotype. So
yep. No. Well.
So since then, I've kind of been scared to go out to an area where English is not the predominant language.
Eating is frowned upon.
Or at least have a translator at all times. But I feel stupid because sometimes you just want to go out and
nowadays they've got all these fancy things that you can get stuff right in your ear that will translate for you.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'd
murder that too. I think this guy asked for a braised cow liver. I don't know. And then I'd get it and I'd be like, ooh. Oh. All right. So any other travel stories, Joe? I mean, I went through some minor ones, and then there are 3 majors.
Yeah, I don't. We went to Alaska.
Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah, Alaska, ladies and gentlemen, is amazing. It is gorgeous all over. Like, it's not just like oh, this is nice, and then you're like, wow, this is amazing. No, everywhere, even Anchorage.
Did you go to like during, obviously, the non-cold time?
Yeah, we went right in the middle of July.
Okay,
it's just like it is down here. Well, minus the humidity.
Okay,
so it is. I mean.
And how did you get there? Did you fly out there?
We flew there, yeah, from Minnesota to right into Anchorage. And then I have family that lives out there.
Okay.
Like great aunt and uncle, distant cousins type things. So they live in a small town called Girdwood, Alaska.
Girdwood.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's right, of course I can't think of, it's been so long. I was a freshman in high school, going to be a freshman in high school. And, but you drive down the Seward Highway, which, oh my God, the accidents that are on that highway, horrifying. It's just a 2-lane highway, and it spans like the state of Wisconsin. Like, it is so big.
And okay,
but no, it just.
So what causes the accidents? That's what I was kind of.
Who knows? It's just.
Was it like slippery conditions or poor drivers?
People.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
it's terrible drivers.
Well, that's every day on the news. It was like, and we have another crash here on the Seward Highway.
But that's probably the same way here, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a crash every day.
The thing about that, though, is that it is the highway. It is the main highway to get to these little towns outside of Anchorage. There's no, like you can't take 57 or I-43. You take the Seward Highway.
The highway.
But anyway, so it was absolutely amazing. Like, and Girdwood is in the middle of this valley. Right, and all around it, you have the ocean on one side, and then you have all mountains around you. It is just really cool. We went to Denali. It's just one of those things that I'll never forget. Like, I want a house there. I don't want to live there all year round, but I want a house there. I'll be about 95 and a half when I finally get it. But it's that, and that too. It was fairly. Oh, I do have one story from there. So my great aunt and uncle, they have a house. That has a wraparound deck. It's really cool. Obviously, there are stairs going all the way down to the ground, but then like on the second level, there's this wraparound deck, and then it'll even wrap a little bit higher to go to the top of the garage. So on top of the garage, they've got a hot tub, and
sounds nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. And but there are gates like part way through.
So animals don't climb up?
Yes.
Okay.
And prior to us getting there, I don't know if my uncle maybe like popped the lid on the garbage or something, to get some bears around. But some black bears were around the houses.
Okay.
And so while we were there, these things would come around every once in a while, and then you just like yell at them and they'd scatter,
Okay.
Well, one day, the night before, we had grilled, and the grill was on, just on that big old wraparound.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, like, we're all in the hot tub. My siblings and I are all in the hot tub, and I go running down. And these gates, I was 14, and these gates are actually kind of big on this deck.
Yeah, you'd think big enough to support.
So instead of me, and I don't mean like tall, I mean like heavy.
Yeah,
they're heavier gates. And so instead of me like opening it and like sliding open, I would just jump over them. I would just kind of clamber over them.
Yep.
Well, I'm like kind of yelling back to my siblings and like clambering over this thing, and I kick a bear.
What?
That is right by the grill.
You kicked a bear.
Yeah, I kicked, like, just basically almost horsed it, like landed on this bear. Okay.
I'm surprised you're alive today to tell us this story.
It's a black bear. No, who cares? It's not like the Revenant with this big brown bear and there's baby bears.
Okay, all right. So anyway,
but this bear and I both like stop, like, and look at each other, like, oh my god. I go running back the other way, and that thing shot off the other way. But that was probably the I don't know, one of the cooler moments.
Yeah, it makes for a good story for sure.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Yeah, I would say.
Not during.
As it mauls you to death.
No, I didn't. It was more concerned about the salmon we were cooking on the grill the
Sure.
night before, which my uncle had just caught. We had flown into a lake that you could see to the bottom of.
Oh, wow.
Over by Prince William Sound. Landed on the lake and then just went fishing right off the boat.
Right off the boat or the plane.
Yeah. Again, another thing where like I appreciated it,
yeah,
but I didn't understand it.
Yeah, right, like, exactly.
It's like one of those things you crave nowadays. Like, wow, when will I ever be able to do that?
Go back,
again?
Yeah. So, my two best friends, their brother lived up there for the I believe Army or Air Force. I think there was a base up there, and so they had gone to visit.
Thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you, Matt. And so they had gone up, and they took a cruise actually, like a ferry cruise. So they said it was amazing. Basically, every day they'd wake up, they go to the little food cabin, they eat a little breakfast, you can look out, they hung out, played cards, played Scrabble, just kind of a relaxing kind of cruise up there.
Yep.
And then they kind of got there and they did all the usual scenic stuff, flying in and out of areas and saw bears and did all that, and then spent time with their brother and then came back down. But he said the trip up was almost as great as
sure,
everything else. It was much more of the relaxing in a close group of family. There's 4 brothers and sisters, so like your family, and everybody gets along, and they all had. And I don't know if they brought spouses at that point, but I thought it was a really neat idea. And my dad's always wanted to go to Alaska. I've always wanted to get that with a trip, like if we can get the 6 of us, just adults, to kind of head up there and do that. But again, when I asked you what time you went, of the year we went, because when you don't want to go in the winter because it's just miserable.
I don't think you're going to see anything.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, though. Gorgeous. Let me tell you. Middle of July, amazing. I recommend it.
Yeah.
All y'all out there in Radioland, recommend it.
Yeah. It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So.
It's probably expensive.
So I got to bring my parents so they can pay for it.
Yay! Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Thanks.
Love you. Cool. What else you got, man? Or do you have more travel stories?
I don't think so. I was going to ask you next. Where do you want to go next? What's the next plan? Or you mentioned living in Alaska, but is there anywhere like you want to go? You're gonna go? Anything like that?
I have such a hard time with this one.
Well, just start rattling one off. We'll work through it together. Rand, I hope you're listening.
Yeah. Well,
we're
this winter,
winter
we're going on a cruise. We're gonna go on a little Disney cruise. I hear they're fun.
Just you and Miranda?
No, the little one's coming along.
Okay, well, good.
Yep.
I'm sure she'll get something out of it.
I would hope so.
I think my wife would not want to bring our kids. It would be all about her. Mm-hmm. Just like
Mickey, yay!
It's goofy, Jeff. It's goofy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, honey.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna go get a drink.
Yep. So we're doing that.
All
That'll
right.
be kind of in the tropics, the Caribbean area.
Okay.
So I've never been in that location.
And I've never been on a cruise either. I've heard they're
neither.
amazing.
Me neither.
A
Never
couple
done it.
friends of ours go all the time. They love them. Just never really.
I'm a new guy.
You let me let me on.
I will
Let
I will
me
let
know
you-
how it goes.
Yeah. Good job with your words there.
I
bud.
tried a couple times there first, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, I don't see. The thing is, I want houses. I want houses.
Okay.
I want a place in New York.
Oh my God. Okay.
I want a place up north here in Wisconsin.
Okay.
I want a place in Alaska.
Okay.
I want a place around here.
So up
I
north
already
is-
owned a place, but no, like up north is completely different. I mean,
Do
you go past
Door
the tension
County,
line.
or are you saying like Rhinelander?
Yeah, up north,
Okay.
like on a lake.
'Kay.
That I own.
Okay. So I'm currently aware of where you work now.
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
And it will not ever happen.
Better hope this podcast.
I have dreams, bud.
You better hope this podcast.
They're not nightmares either. Until one by one, they do not come true.
No.
I just
All
see
right.
my
So,
life falling
so
apart.
I've got
as I'm
you
talking.
2 in Wisconsin, Alaska, New York.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's about it right now. Yeah. I went to Florida for the first time about 2 winters ago.
Okay.
Very good time. Clearwater, Florida.
What were we doing in
just-
Clearwater, Florida?
Doing a little vacation.
Doing a little vacation.
Yeah. Miranda and I went down there, and my first time. It was my first time
Okay.
in the southern hemisphere.
Okay.
I kind of have a fun story with this, sort of, because there's always some type of story.
Yes, at least one good story.
Well, we get there, okay, and we obviously hit up the beach. This isn't day one. This is like, I mean, I'm not right off the plane. I'm talking like the next day. You know, we've got a full day to work with.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go to the beach. Before this, I'm like, I'm a New York guy. Like, my brother lived out there, so I go out there quite often. And New York, I mean, you don't stop. You don't stop. You just keep moving. There's always something to see, always something to do.
Yep.
So I get to Florida, and it's like,
City that never sleeps.
you just hit the brakes.
It's
hard.
more of a relaxing vacation.
Allegedly.
Jesus.
No, it is a relaxing. And nowadays, too, I'm like, oh, got any more of that Florida, you know? But,
Sometimes you need those vacations.
yeah,
too.
and I had never really experienced one. So I was happy.
You've never
I was
been
able
on
to-
just a relaxing vacation before.
No such thing.
Okay.
There are now, but used to
Well,
not be. a
but
thing.
when you're young and you have energy going
Yeah.
out and doing stuff all the time and getting drunk and beating up, scalpers or whatever, that's just what you do.
yeah, it's
So-
just a normal
But now that you're older,
Saturday night. Actually, I think it was a Thursday night.
okay.
But so Miranda's like, you should probably put some sunscreen on.
Oh God! Please tell me you didn't burn yourself for the whole.
Well, okay,
vacation.
so here's the deal. Summertime's up here. You traipse around all summer not putting a drop of sunscreen on. Nothing ever happens. For
I
me,
do.
I don't get burnt. I never do. I barely even tan for crying out
I'm
loud.
going bald on top of my ears.
See, I will burn once at the beginning of summer,
Mhm.
most likely on purpose. And
Just
then
to get
I'm-
it out of the way.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then I'm good. Like all
Well,
summer.
yeah.
Well, this was March.
So this was your
And I'm
first
like,
burn of the year.
I'll just burn. I'm fine. Not laying under an umbrella or anything. Just
It's that Florida
laying
heat,
there.
Florida sun.
Holy shit. Oh my God. So Miranda's like, yeah, I don't want to say I
I
told you so.
so.
So I did not put sunscreen on.
Okay.
I burnt.
How bad did you burn?
Let's just say I might have had 1 or 2 blisters. I burnt.
That cannot be good for the rest of the vacation.
No, I fucked it up. Like, I messed up the vacation. I'm so sorry. Well, no, and it wasn't. I was not apologizing to her. She had a great time. At least I think she did. I, on the other hand, the day after, I couldn't do a thing. I couldn't
laid in bed?
sleep. I couldn't.
No.
I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't eat. I thought I was dying.
Yeah.
I had not suffered from such a burn ever. Anyways, to fast forward to Miranda's first trip to New York, she packed some kind of lighter shoes, and I said,
And then walked around.
I was like, you're gonna want some nicer shoes for this, you know.
Your walking shoes.
And she was like, she kind of gave me the look, like, really.
And
Really?
here we
And
go to
all
the
I
I told
said
you so.
was Florida. That was all I said. within that first day, she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna get some better shoes."
Yeah. But for her, at least she could just buy better shoes. You
no,
can't
I could
buy
not,
new skin.
I could not do that. No.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the last day we were there, and granted, like this happened day one. I think we were there for like 4 days.
Yeah.
And the last day we were, by the water, and we're getting our pictures taken. And we're like, "Hey, can you take our picture?" This one guy, and he's like, "You are really red." Yes, I know, sir. Thank you.
From Wisconsin.
Yeah, I was like, and now my fingerprints are white and red and white and red.
So, okay, I have a sunburn story then. So
Great.
I moved to San Diego.
Nothing like the old burning yourself story.
In the middle of, I think it was middle of March, right after my mom's birthday. I remember that. So I get out there, and my buddy is living in, or wants to be moving closer to LA so he can do the movie business thing. So
Did that work out for him?
No. We ended up doing a live action
Props
version.
to you for trying, buddy.
We did a live action version of The Giving Tree. Have you ever heard of it?
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
No, you wouldn't have seen it. No.
Is it a thing?
No,
is it?
it was just him and his buddies and kind of doing a little short video.
Huh.
If I get it from him, I should send it to you.
Yeah, please
You
do.
watch it. So anyway, we had it. So I was only there for a little while. And he's like, "Want to come along?" Sure, let's go.
Let's do it.
I need you to help carry stuff. I thought, okay. And I got burned. You don't think of it. Like, I was just like, oh, and I'm just not used to it in Wisconsin. Like I said, March.
Right.
And then the worst part was, then we did another video out in the middle of the desert. And this time I really didn't do anything because there was a whole bunch of other people
pulled
there.
up in black sedans.
And so I burnt. I had shorts and a short sleeve shirt on. So my head, all my head was basically red. Then my torso was all white. My arms were red, and then white, and then red. So I looked like a giant candy cane. My girlfriend at the time took a picture of me.
Where is this picture?
It was been since deleted or burned or whatever.
Oh,
But it was pretty bad. It was. I've never. And again, it's one of those things where there's nothing you can do.
Nope.
It like tingles.
You got to work through it.
Now I will. So the first time it happened, a girl who had lived there said, "Hey, I'm not from the area too. This is what I found works." So she told me she just puts Noxzema on it.
Huh.
So Noxzema was originally developed, I believe, for some sort of skin condition or whatever. I don't know if it was whatever it was for. And so now it's been whatever, I don't know, it's minty, fresh, kind of, tingling, whatever. But if you put the Noxzema on, let it soak in for a little bit, and then you wash it off. So don't let it sit.
Huh.
That, what it does is it turns the sunburn into suntan. So it keeps you moist so that it doesn't flake and peel off.
Wow.
So it'll turn that into, and I've had great luck ever since then.
Wow. See, I think I used a whole bottle of aloe on me.
See, what I've heard is the aloe soothes it, but
Right.
it doesn't. It's the cream.
I was looking for soothing. That's all I cared about. I couldn't even do.
Yeah,
I couldn't human.
there was at the time there was something else in the cabinet or whatever. My girlfriend had grown up in California. She was so used to it or whatever. I grabbed it. I tried it. It made it worse. And I was like, "Why would you do this to me?" I remember being so angry.
Like, Here, put
I
some of
use this
on.
all the time. This totally works for me.
Okay, Jeff's like, yeah. He then looks at it, Ben Gay.
Oh man, it hurts so bad. Like I remember taking a cold shower and tried to scrub whatever she had told me to put on my body.
And as your skin is falling down the drain.
I was crying and bleeding. It was all sorts of emotion and fluids. And we're back.
Oh God.
Yeah. So that's
horrifying.
That was definitely the worst.
Thanks for the visual, Jeff.
No problem. Anytime.
I threw
Joe.
up in my mouth.
Yeah, good for you.
So what else do we have besides burning ourselves and loving our vacays?
So I would say the next trip, like I said, I want to go to Alaska. But I'd also really like to go to England.
Really?
I'd really love to go to England.
Love to go to England.
Now, I've heard really good things about like New Zealand. I've heard good things about Australia. Again, English-speaking countries,
Going to
because it
England.
scares me. But my sister has gone to Ireland before. I've kind of been all around America, to be honest.
Really?
So I've been to New York, Baltimore, D.C., Virginia, West Virginia, Florida, I've been to Atlanta. I've been to Austin. Been through Oklahoma. Driven to San Diego twice. Driven to DC once. Driven up through California twice. Been through Vegas a couple times. Been to Phoenix. Been to most of the national monuments. Been to Seattle a couple times. Been to Hawaii twice. Been to Portland once. You and I were in Portland.
Portland
Prime. Shout out. $12 mushrooms.
Oregon.
I guess I don't know. I guess I've never. There's nowhere else I maybe haven't seen or been to. Like I do want to go to Dallas. I'm a big Dallas Mavericks fan, the basketball team.
Wow.
So I'd like to go there. Maybe I'm hoping one day we can get where the Packers play the Cowboys there and the Mavs play, so I could do kind of like a big sports weekend.
Double duty.
But again, that has to be like the stars align kind of thing. And I'm waiting for my kids to get older because there's really nothing right now that
for them to do.
I feel bad leaving my kids with my parents for a week at a time. That's not. It's not my. That's a terrible thing to do to grandparents. So I'm kind of waiting until they get older and bring them to Disneyland and Disney World and take them to Legoland and all that other junk. So,
like the Mall of America, Legoland.
No, Legoland. You're not aware of Legoland?
Well, I know that there's a Legoland.
There's a Legoland
at the Mall of America.
No, there's Legoland. It's an actual theme park out in California, right around LA area.
Huh?
Like it's huge.
Everything's made out of Legos.
Not the toilets, but yeah, pretty much everything's made of Legos.
Lego.
So
disappointment over here.
I mean, it's a crazy place to go. Kids love it. It's actually mentioned in the movie, I believe, Knocked Up.
Really?
They were like, we're going to Legoland. And the girls are like, Legoland. So
have to rewatch.
There's a whole Legoland thing. You should look into it.
I will.
Maybe the little squirt would want to go. You can take her there. Take her to Disneyland and Legoland all in the same weekend.
We'll have to see.
Yeah,
we will have to look into that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've been to Disney World. I've been to Disneyland, just didn't go in. Like we were in around the area.
You just saw it from afar.
We were at a conference in a hotel across the street, basically.
Wow,
that makes sense. So,
sort of.
Well, I don't know. I guess I just don't. There's nothing really I want to go to.
Yeah.
I can't think of it. I'd like to do I want to do a huge road trip and just but me, it would be all about food. It'd be all about it would all be about like going to
I just want to
number 4. That was a weird accent. No, but I want to
turns into like a proper Neanderthal over there. Number 4.
I want to go to like Philadelphia and have a cheesesteak. Well, I want to go to like New York, get like their best pizza. And
you need to watch the Food Network and get a good
exactly. I want to go to all those places. Yeah,
good.
Follow Guy Fieri around or Anthony Bourdain or Zimmerman, whatever. Right. Follow them around,
just everywhere.
They could be on the podcast, maybe. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be way cool.
Yeah, so that's what I kind of want to do.
Then we should just start a food podcast.
I just want to get a van and just drive. Just get in the car and go.
They've got cheap vans sometimes.
Well, I've got this big beast. Yeah, I think that'll be perfect.
You do. Yeah, very good.
It gets like 13 miles a gallon.
So like Miranda, she wants to do a road trip. And I totally credit her for it. She's young. She's excited about life. But
you're not, is what you're saying?
Well, I've done it and I get tired. Like you get tired on road trips, man.
But that the whole point about my road trip would be you're only in the car for a maximum like 3 hours.
Yeah.
So you drive for a while, stop and you go do something, and then you get in the car, and then whenever you want to stop for the day, you stop for the day, get a hotel room, and
see, I'm crazy.
No planning.
You drive until you get there.
Nope.
Like that's
nope. That's not
and
what
then
I
I'm like, why do I hate everything? But no, that's pretty legit, man. Sounds fun.
The day my second kid, Leo, goes off to college, I'm leaving. I'm getting a van, and we're just driving. I'm going to save up as much PTO as I can. I'm going to take like a month off.
Leo, if you're listening to this,
I'm just going to drive.
Bro, just live in your parents' basement.
Please don't.
It's going to be awesome.
You better go to college.
Nope.
So that's the dream. That's my dream.
Wow.
Have you ever seen like Step Brothers?
Yes.
The guy has the dream of the boat.
Yes.
That's my dream. As soon as the kids are 18, out of my house, and I'm getting a boat.
Getting a van.
Getting a van, and we're cruising.
Nice.
I'm going to get like one of the conversion vans, take out everything in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Just load it up with stuff as we go.
Dude. You're actually making this sound a little bit exciting.
Because
I've been on numerous road trips.
If we start in Wisconsin,
mm-hmm.
we're just going to head west or east or whatever, and just make a big loop all the way through the country. And then wherever you want to stop and get a nice hotel room and just hang out. I mean, and the idea, though, is to get one of those, like maybe the mini RVs, so you could sleep in it. So if you go to like Yellowstone, you could sleep in the van for a couple days.
Down by the river.
Yeah. I think that'd be really cool. Just
totally
relax. No plans.
Yeah.
You just get in the car and go.
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea would be that there's no agenda.
That's perfect.
Like a month. You have 30 days to just go.
Jeez,
no, I'm serious.
I
do
know
30
you're
days.
serious, and that's why it's like
the look in my eyes right now,
it's
and I've talked to my wife.
Dead serious.
She can either come with me in the van or she can stay home. I'll do on my own for all I care.
She's like, yes.
You're telling me the kids and Jeff will leave for a month?
You are telling me I'm going to be home alone? Woo!
She's going to develop some sort of weird cold the day before and be like, go without me. I'll be like, gotta go.
I drove out with a really good friend of mine. We drove out to New York and then out to Cape Cod.
Oh, really?
Two summers ago. It was awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah. Cape Cod is really
But did you drive
place.
straight through? So all the way...
We did. Well, we didn't stay at a hotel. We drove to New York, stayed at my brother's place, and he was in Cape Cod.
Okay, but
so
still,
he
you
gave
drove
us the
from
keys
here all the way to DC, or all the way to
New York.
And how
stayed
far
there
of a drive is that?
It's about 18 hours.
Okay, all in one shot.
Pretty much.
Two of you back to back just kept switching.
Yeah. Oh,
see that?
Now that you bring it up, it's like, wow,
that sucks, man.
Well, hey, we literally had like 4 days to do this.
What was so important in Cape Cod that you had?
Well, my brother was out there for the summer. He was doing like an artistic retreat. So he was out there with a friend of his, and I'd never been to Cape Cod.
Okay.
Andy's never been to Cape Cod. We were like, let's go on a road trip. So
you took a couple of days off and cruised over there.
Mm-hmm. It was right around my birthday.
So you spent a whole day driving there, whole day driving back, pretty much.
Well, yeah, pretty much a whole day to New York. When we got to New York,
then you had to drive to Cape Cod,
right?
Yeah.
Well, we stayed the night there.
Yeah, but still,
and it was awesome.
Yeah,
of course. Then we got up late and just kind of did our thing. The next day, kind of did a little bit more sightseeing because Andy had never been to New York. So shout out to Andy, by the way, Andy W, my man.
Andy Dubs.
My man. I drove to Cape Cod, and I tell you, I mean, like, it is like Door County on steroids.
I've heard the stories. I've just never been.
It's amazing because you were and they were like way out by the tip. So just the tip.
I love the tip.
So like you could almost like you smelt the ocean just in the air. You know, it's just you were right there. And two, the house we stayed at was built in the 1800s. Like I'm sorry, like 1700s.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
haunted.
They claimed it was. I did not see anything. Yeah. Maybe we'll have to bring it up in Paranormal Palaver.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Our sister podcast, Paranormal Palaver.
Yep. Check it out. But yeah, so there've been some really good trips in my lifetime.
See, I've done.
Good luck with yours, Jeff.
Well, we've driven from here to DC, straight shot. On the way back, on the way there, we did stop at Cedar Rapids, the amusement park in Ohio. The real big.
I don't know.
Cedar. I think it's. Cedar.
I believe you.
Cedar Point. Thank you. I didn't feel bad because everybody would have yelled at me. Everybody's
all
like,
these people lining up.
Cedar Point.
Yep.
So anyway,
Huge
Cedar
line.
Point, we stopped there and did the whole roller coaster thing, which I'm not a big fan of. But I don't like standing in line for an hour plus for 30 seconds
of thrill,
pleasure,
of joy riding.
Yes.
All
that foreplay just for a real quick release.
Story of your life, Jeff.
Anyways, on the way back though, my buddy Nate, he's like, I don't want to stop. We're going. And so he gets in the car and we just fly through like 14 hours. He was cruising.
Wow.
We just stood in the back. He didn't care at all. He's just like, I'll drive in mind.
It's perfect.
So anyway, and then I've also driven from here to San Diego twice. Once in a caravan. There was two of us. Motorcade, I think is what they call it. The kids call it nowadays. there's two of us. We're moving Nate, my buddy, same guy, out to DC or San Diego. And the second time was by myself.
Yes.
So that the only scary part, the only good story was that there's like border, like, I don't know, some sort of law enforcement, whatever, and they're stopping all these cars at a certain point.
Yep.
And I was like, great. They're going to pull me over. I have everything I own in the back of my, Chevy Celebrity.
Were you illegal or something?
No.
Why would they have taken your stuff?
So they pull me over and they're like, "What's in the car? What do you have in the trunk?" And I'm like,
"Pot."
I'm moving. I'm moving from Sheboygan, Wisconsin, to San Diego. It's just all closed. I can open it up if you want. Nope. Go ahead.
Wow.
I was really freaking out because I'm like there by myself. I was driving. Nobody was there, and I was like, I don't know what they're gonna ask for.
And no one ever heard from you again.
So yeah, that was a crazy story, and then so I drove that by myself. Stopped in Arizona. So the scary thing is, so I'm driving again by myself. Everything I own is in this car, and I have to stop. And I'm driving through Oklahoma, and there's like no nice cities to stop at. Did not plan this out very well at all. So I'm stopping at this motel.
I am gonna drive through every scum town.
So I stopped at this one place that looked semi.
No, I don't care how long it
shady.
takes me. Is this the shittiest path there? I'm gonna take that.
So it was in March, so I was afraid of driving through Colorado with the snow. So I went a little farther south, went through Oklahoma. Bad decision. Had to stop at some weird, shady hotel.
Met this weird
motel
guy named
Bart.
Bart.
It was a motel. So it's one of those ones where you park in front of your room, and I'm like, I swear to God.
You hearing screams at night?
You can see right into my car. You know that everything I own is in there. I have a TV wrapped in 20 blankets or whatever so it wouldn't break, and that, So I was like, I was really desperate. So I remember waking up as soon as I woke up, and I'm like, please God, let my car be there full of all my stuff. Oh, thank God it was. So
wow.
I was really freaking out though for a little bit.
Jeez.
I was genuinely scared that
all it
would
like
take was somebody
fairly...
to break in there and take off on me or steal everything. I mean, granted, nobody really wants my clothes and some of my weird
Clearly,
stuff.
the cops didn't even want it.
Nobody wants my shit. So yeah. But anyways, I've done enough traveling carpool or road trips, but I gotta have one where it's no agenda, just drive and go.
Yeah. And then you can talk about it. Hopefully, unless you stay in Oklahoma, in which case you might not. Make it out.
No, we're not getting anywhere through Oklahoma.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to drive through it, but I'm gonna drive through like the little tiny tip there,
just the tip,
just the what do you call panhandle? Is that what they call the panhandle?
Panhandle. Great job.
Zip right over. This will be done and over with it.
Yep. I wonder how many people do that. Like I've been to all 50 states, and you just drove. Yeah, that's not real.
I think at one point we were driving through and we'd gotten through Colorado and it was really scary because it was kind of raining, snowing. And if you've ever driven through Colorado, but it's like real hilly, so it's up and down. And
I have not, but
so it was kind of scary in that we were just afraid of making sure we were safe and everything, whatever.
Well, yeah.
And so we get out of there and we're in Utah, and Utah is pretty flat.
Mm-hmm.
And so we stopped right before we got to Utah. And we just were like, let's get through Utah. And so we cruised through Utah in like 4 hours because the highways had no speed limits. It was kind of at night. I mean, we were going like 80, 90, and there was 4 lanes. So we were zipping in and out of lanes just because it was so curvy. We were just kind of trying to go straight as much as possible. We made through Utah in like 4 hours. I could be murdering this. So if people have ever driven through Utah, please correct me. But I remember we cruised through it in 1 tank of gas, and we were pretty impressed with ourselves with how fast we were going.
Nice.
But again, we weren't breaking any laws just because the speed limit, was whatever 80 or whatever it was. So
yeah.
Well, that's fun. Yeah, those are my stories. I think with travels.
Pretty legit.
Yeah.
I mean, you moved, you traveled places.
Yeah.
That's a travel story.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have. Unless you want to
have you seen any of these mannequin challenges yet?
I think they're stupid.
Oh, you do?
Yep. I did see the originator, though. They had him like on some news outlet or whatever. I don't. It's kind of like what was that? What was the one where it like played music and one person was dancing and then it went all crazy and everybody was dancing?
The Harlem Shake.
Yeah, not a fan of that either. I'm kind of a curmudgeon with some of this social media stuff.
Curmudgeon.
I don't have a Twitter. I don't have an Instagram. I don't have
a life.
I have Facebook, but I barely go on there. I'm addicted. Snapchat is really something because it's a news, 30-second news. That's all I need. But otherwise, I'm pretty good with it. I used to really watch The Chive a lot. Now, not so much.
Yeah.
Why not? I think it was a lack of a point, I guess, there. Like, some of it just...
I get it.
Like, there's only so many posts I actually wanted to look at.
Yep.
Some of it was really funny, and, like, a lot of the interesting facts or the unsolved stuff or whatever, like, interesting stuff, yeah, I was into that.
Mm-hmm.
But some of it was wasn't for me. So,
well,
every once in a while I'll pop back on there, and then I'll realize why I don't miss it. So, I think that's why I don't have Instagram. I'm not really.
You don't just like looking at pictures.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'd rather. I'm much more of a YouTube addict. So instead of
YouTube is great though.
I'm addicted. Like I'm one of those people that have a bunch of subscriptions, and I put it on when I'm doing whatever. Like in the morning, I put it on when I'm making breakfast.
Yep.
When I eat breakfast, I have one on there. Most of the time, I have just something playing on in the background when I'm doing work or whatever. For me, it's a background noise. It's just people talking, podcast.
I hear you there.
People playing videos or do whatever.
I do the same thing.
Music videos, whatever it is, just something on. I'm one of those people that hate silence. I do. It's funny. We were talking. We go to my grandma's every once in a while, and for a while there, she'll be talking, we'll be talking, and then it just goes quiet for a while.
It's okay to be quiet, Jeff.
And I just sit there, and I just get really uncomfortable, and I'm like, all right, and then I just make up some dumb thing to say, like, I'm just not. Heather, my sister's like, dude, it's okay, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's not. I can't. It like sitting there. See, I can't do that. I gotta say something. There's no point in just got things to do.
Yeah, right. You things to do. Pack up your van. Okay, hit the road.
Jack. Live in a van down by the river.
Oh yeah.
No. So
cool. Well, is that then the show? Is that the show?
I don't know. I mean, we're already an hour 20 into it. Minute 20. the shortest podcast ever.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Well, I would like to thank everyone for joining us.
Yeah,
again
thank you.
Here on Friday nights.
As you can tell, Joe and I are running out of some topics. So if you'd like to have any topics talked about on the podcast, let us know. Specifically, we're talking about you, Jamie. Taylor H.
We got to get people on this show.
We do.
Yeah, we got to get.
See, we talked to a friend of ours named Taylor.
TH.
He's a big talker. He's got some crazy stories. And we're a little afraid that two things: that he'll bogart the show, and that we won't be allowed to talk at all.
Well, it might be,
and he'll offend so many listeners. We'll go from 5 to 2. So,
yeah, but yeah. No, it'll be good once we get him on, and then a couple other people. Yeah. Jamie also said that he might want to join us.
I'd love to have Jamie on the show.
That would be awesome.
Who
knows where that would go?
I think Jamie's got some good stories.
I can only imagine.
There might have to be some, confidentiality clauses written out, but I think we'd be okay.
Yeah. Probably can't wreck too much here.
Yeah.
On the old Friday nights with Jeff and Joe.
Friday nights with Jeff and Joe. All the things the useless things you need to know.
It's Friday nights with Jeff and Joe.
With Jeff and Joe. Okay. All right. I'll get that one day.
Yeah, well, you're on the show, so eventually.
And actually, this week, right after this, I think we're going to try to get Joe to strum out a little instrumental here for our intro. So, for those of you who listened to last week, I tried to put an outtake at the end of the podcast. However, there was nothing indicated that the one podcast ended and then the outtake happened. So for those of you who listened last week, I want to apologize and just say it was meant to be better. So what I want everybody to do who listened to this and was a little confused, if you haven't already, go listen to our sister podcast,
Paranormal Palaver.
Thank you. And that episode 3. Because in that, there is an instrumental at the end, and then there's an outtake afterwards. So I think that worked out a little bit better there. But for those of you listening to this, it wasn't the best. I apologize for that.
Yeah.
That should have been under the housekeeping section.
Yeah, it should have been under the... Give me enough here.
number 4. Give me a number 4.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Well,
thank you very much for listening.
Thanks for coming. For all the useless information you want to know, listening to Friday Nights with Jeff and Joe.
Thank you.
Deuces.